Thank you for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, the growing trend of anti-Semitism right here in the United States. Growing warnings about the danger of hatred against Jews, including from members of Congress.
The substitution of the word Zionist for Jew has become the modus operandi of a new insidious strain of anti-Semitism that has taken hold in college campuses and on social media platforms.
What can be done to fight this growing trend? New video apparently showing the arrest of a 55-year-old Catholic pro-lifer.
I want to know why you were banging on my door with a gun.
The video comes as questions are rising about the Justice Department targeting pro-life activists. Surrounded by enemies, Israel must develop new military technologies, and it's sharing them with its allies.
We know that when we are acting together with other militaries, we can learn from each other.
How Israel, the United States, and other countries are working together to prepare for future battles. And her songs have risen to the top of the charts. Our Studio 5 conversation with Christian singer Jokia.
When did Jokia know I have a voice?
Yeah, you know what? I still don't know.
We hear about the life story behind her music. Those stories and much more today on CBN NewsWatch.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
We begin with a growing trend of anti-Semitism here in the United States. Members of Congress are speaking out, warning of the dangers of new attacks on Jews. Our one breeding ground for the bias against Jews and Israel, today's college campuses. Our Gary Lane brings us this look at the dangerous development, including the recent controversy over Jewish-free zones at the University of California, Berkeley.
Anti-Semitism is on the rise here in the United States, with hate crimes against Jews setting an all-time high last year. Most took the form of violent attacks and vandalism against synagogues and Jewish temples. On Capitol Hill, congressmen expressed concerns about a new wave of anti-Semitism infecting young American adults.
The substitution of the word Zionist for Jew has become the modus operandi of a new insidious strain of anti-Semitism that has taken hold in college campuses and on social media platforms.
During public demonstrations like this one, pro-Palestinian protesters call for Jews to be purged from college campuses and classrooms. And critics say that's exactly what has happened at the University of California, Berkeley, where some students have attempted to restrict pro-Israel speech. Berkeley Law School Dean Erwin Chemerinsky says a rash of media reports about Jewish-free zones are not true. He says only a handful of student organizations, fewer than 10 out of 100, have adopted anti-Israel bylaws, which include a ban against pro-Israel speakers. Berkeley Law School graduate Kenneth Marcus is founder and chairman of the Louis Brandeis Center for Human Rights. He calls Chemerinsky's response outrageous.
What if there had been any other context in which any other group was shut out of opportunities? Would a law school dean in the 21st century say, not to worry, it's okay to have 9 segregated areas, just so long as we have many other areas that aren't segregated?
Appearing on the CBN News program The Global Lane, Marcus described the speech ban as utterly absurd, ridiculous, and inconsistent with American law. So is this speech ban anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish, or just anti-Israel?
Well, it's all of those. Pick your poison. To begin with, it is a method of silencing one side of a political debate. It is a way of saying we should not permit anyone to participate in a discussion on campus if they are pro-Israel.
American Jewish leaders fear what has started in California may easily spread to other parts of the country. Marcus says Jewish students are already being marginalized and excluded on other college campuses because of the Zionist aspect of their Jewish identity. Students at Rutgers University recently saw their fraternity house egged on the first day of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year.
We're seeing a general effort to marginalize and exclude the Jewish community, to create the notion that Jews and the Jewish community and establishment are simply not a normal part of life on college and university campuses. What's happening at Berkeley Law now is in some respects unique, but in some respects it is simply the latest in what is clearly a nationwide trend, and an ugly one.
And concerned leaders like Marcus and Congressman Torres believe only by standing up and speaking out can Americans reverse the growing tide of American anti-Semitism. Gary Lane, CBN News.
Video footage has recently surfaced on social media showing multiple heavily armed agents purportedly hauling away Paul Vaughn, a 55-year-old man charged in relation to pro-life protest. In the video, you can hear his wife pleading for answers during the arrest.
But if you're not going to let me, then I'll just...
No, I want to know why you were banging on my door with a gun. You're not going to tell me anything?
No, do not. I tried.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You did not try.
Last week, the Justice Department indicted 11 pro-life activists after alleging they blocked access to an abortion clinic in Tennessee as part of a protest in March of 2021. Vaughn was reportedly part of that group. Some of them are seen in this picture here. But the question of why charges and arrests are being made now, over 18 months later, remains unanswered. You can learn more about the concerns surrounding the targeting of pro-lifers at CBNNews.com. President Joe Biden is defending his son, Hunter, who faces possible federal charges for tax fraud and lying on an application to buy a gun. The president responding to a question from CNN's Jake Tapper.
Turns out that when he made an application to purchase a gun, what happened was I guess you get asked, you get asked the question, are you on drugs, you use drugs? He said no. And he wrote about saying no in his book. So I have great confidence in my son. I love him, and he's on the straight and narrow, and he has been for a couple of years now, and I'm just so proud of him.
The president also answered a question about concerns among voters, including Democrats, about his age by saying, "Look what I've gotten done." A new Reuters poll shows the president's approval rating at 40%, and 64% of voters say they're concerned about his mental health in a new poll issues and insights and TIPP. A former member of Congress and 2020 presidential candidate has left the Democratic Party, sharply criticizing them in her departure announcement.
No longer remain in today's Democratic Party. It's now under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers driven by cowardly wokeness, who divide us by racializing every issue and stoking anti-white racism, who actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms enshrined in our Constitution, and who are hostile to people of faith and spirituality.
Tulsi Gabbard made history in 2012 when she became the first American Samoan and practicing Hindu in Congress, serving as the representative of Hawaii's 2nd District. The Iraq War veteran has been a vocal critic of Democratic policies over the border and police funding. Turning now overseas, where Iranians are still protesting against their hardline Islamic government. There's hope that Elon Musk's satellite internet service called Starlink could help the protesters in the fight against their brutal regime. That's why lawmakers are calling on the State Department to coordinate the effort on the ground. But the plan does have its risks. Iran security forces could track down and punish users and their families in retaliation. National security correspondent Caitlin Burke is on this story.
At the end of September, the U.S. eased restrictions on internet services to counter the government's censorship. Elon Musk wants to take it one step further by providing Iranians with Starlink, his satellite internet service. While the satellites are now active over Iran, the internet signal won't be accessible until portable receivers can somehow be delivered on the ground.
In Ukraine, he pushed thousands of them, but obviously we had a government to work alongside. In Iran, we don't, but there are NGOs on the ground. We have covert means through various partnerships and routes that we can get these things in.
Congressman Mike Waltz believes the U.S. government should coordinate those efforts. He and Representative Maria Salazar recently wrote to Secretary of State Antony Blinken requesting the State Department get involved.
And liftoff of Starlink 435.
I mean, this Starlink system can be an avenue for freedom and be an avenue to expose these regimes, whether it's cell phone videos being taken of their brutality or just people's message to their loved ones around the world that's trying to get out. I think we have a moral responsibility to help get these receivers in so that they can link up with the satellites and get these messages out.
The receivers would allow users to bypass firewalls put in place by the Iranian government and connect directly to satellite internet. Musk himself has warned, however, that there's significant risk involved. The signal can be easily tracked, which means Iran's security forces could locate users, shut them down, and arrest them. Still,
they are taking risks not to just themselves, but to their entire families, because these regimes crack down not just on the person daring to speak out, but their family, their village, their entire tribe. They're still willing to take those risks, and they're willing to fight for their freedom.
Waltz hopes the U.S. will agree to facilitate this public-private partnership. He worries, however, that the Biden administration may not want to rock the boat with the Islamic regime in order to complete a new Iran nuclear deal. Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Washington.
Coming up, surrounded by enemies, Israel must develop creative military technologies to defend itself. And the Israelis share those developments with their allies as well. We're going to bring you that story when we come back. Israel has long been known for its military's capability. With its relatively small size and with enemies on all borders, Israel realizes the importance of innovation in defense and sharing knowledge with allies. And that cooperation was on display at a recent military conference. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl brings us the story now from Israel.
These helicopters are part of a multi-dimensional live-fire exercise attended by 1,500 high-ranking officers, including U.S. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley.
All of us are like-minded. We're all allies and partners of one kind or another, and we are all giving way together to try to figure out what the future operational environment is and to innovate and develop our forces, our organization, our doctrines, our structures, and our equipment in order to meet future challenges.
Here at the Tsalim training base, the Israel Defense Forces hosted some 20 countries for an innovation conference. Their aim? Using technology effectively in order to win the war and save lives.
I think the big punchline of all that is multi-dimensional. How we act in a multi-dimensional battlefield and prepare our forces in the air, in the ground, and in the sea.
The objective is to use innovation in dealing with challenges like the ability of enemies to easily obtain tech like drones to use against Israel. One example is creatively gathering enemy intelligence and getting it to the field as quickly as possible. The three-day conference culminated with the live-fire exercise, displaying Israel's capability from the air and ground through its use of helicopters, planes, tanks, drones, and foot soldiers. IDF International spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Richard Hecht sees the conference as a compass in terms of pointing the way to military diplomacy.
We know that when we are acting together with other militaries, we can learn from each other, we can engage, and the fact now that the Central Command Commander here is also engaging with the region.
He adds that it can also send a message on the importance of international stability. Julie Stahl, CBN News, IDF Tsalim Base, Israel.
Still ahead, our Studio 5 conversation with the Christian singer Jokia. She's had songs that have risen to the top of the charts, and now she's also an actress and much more. We're going to hear what she has to say about the story behind her music right after this. Jokia, she is a gospel singer from Texas who has now added the title actress to her growing resume. She's also a military veteran, and alongside her husband, she's a fashion entrepreneur. But her voice is still most recognized for singles like Yahweh and Let Him In. She's seen both of those songs rise to the top of the Billboard charts, and she sat down to talk more about the life story behind that music.
I'm called to be. I wanna be as freely. I know that I'm on my own.
First, let's begin with the name, Jokia.
I'm really just a wannabe.
Tell me the origin of the name.
I wish I could say that it had an awesome origin, except that my mother took being creative to a new level.
When I'm weak, Holy Spirit, console me. I'm the student, you're the teacher, enroll me.
I wanted it to have an origin, and so I looked up Joseph. And so with my name being Jokia, I looked up the meaning of Joe, and I looked up the meaning of Kia, and those together, and it meant beautiful road.
How long have you been singing? You've been singing, even not professionally. When did Jokia know I have a voice?
Yeah, you know what? I still don't know. I remember knowing that I loved music at 12, but I just love to worship.
When I'm weak in my spirit, you're my healer.
I was in Iraq. I'm an Army veteran, and I was in Iraq, and in the choir, they had some Ugandan worshipers, and they would sing and fill up the whole chapel, and they sounded like angels. Now, if you ask one of them to sing by themselves, horrible. I mean, horrible. But together, they just sounded so orchestrated, and it sounded so beautiful. So that's when I realized, I said, well, okay, everybody can make a joyful noise.
So you were in the military?
I was, yeah.
How long?
I did 4 years. I did 4 years active and 4 years inactive.
When I hear your music and the fact that you're not just singing, but you write your music, I would ask, why were you spending time in the Army and not doing music?
Yeah, you know, in the Army, I remember sitting, I was waiting, I don't know where I was waiting, but they had like a little magazine. And I picked up the magazine, I started flipping through the magazine, and it said Army Entertainment. And I thought that was interesting. I said, oh, there's an Army Entertainment in the military? And so they had an audition, and I auditioned, I sang and sent a tape, and in 24 hours they said, well, pack your bags, we're gonna fly you to Virginia, and you're gonna come here for a while, and we're gonna tour pretty much every military installation there is that the U.S. has. And I did that for like 8 months before I actually got deployed myself. So I didn't know that, you know, I was gonna be singing in the Army, but that is where I started. I was just singing mainstream music. I was singing R&B, I was singing pop, but for the idea of gospel music, I was like, no, there's no space for my sound. There's no space for me. I know what gospel music kind of sounds like, and there's no room for me. I didn't know. Someone introduced me to Israel Houghton and Ty Tribbett and Fred Hammond. I was like, this sounds like love music right here. What is this? This kind of sounds different. And CeCe Winans. And so I remember there was Kiara Sheard and a world of music that was introduced, and I realized, like, oh God, there's space for me.
Wow. Well, we know you for Letterman, Yahweh. Let's talk about those two real quick.
Man.
So, where was Yahweh born?
Yahweh,
I remember in 2015, fast forward, I heard the Lord say, step out and, you know, do music professionally. You know, I'm like, okay, cool. So I was super excited. I stepped out and I was like, okay, I'm waiting for everything to happen for me. And some things happened slowly, but I just knew, I said, God told me to step out. It's about to be record deals everywhere. It's about to be, I just remember having that feeling. Well, I did, and I was like, God, where's all that at? I'm not getting that response. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I quit. I'm done. I'm going to sing this last event, and I'm never doing this anymore. I had a good old pot with the Lord, and I knew it in my heart. And there was a man of God who said, you know, don't give up. I had never even told him what, you know, I had told the Lord. Well, long story short from there, I end up hearing the Lord say, you know, who's your God? Am I your God? And that's what I realized. I didn't have God first. I had him like third. My ambition to be a singer was first. And my fear of man was second, and God was probably third. And so I put him in position. I repented, made him first. And that's from making God first in my life, that just began to change. And then God said, don't confuse what I'm sending you to do. Yahweh is the lyrics of that story.
Wow.
Of me getting to the altar, me getting delivered, me repenting to God and saying, I'm sorry that I made everything else greater than you.
Jokia's music is available everywhere, and she is officially a singer now and actress. You can see her in the new season of the series called Double Cross. For more uplifting entertainment news, be sure to catch an all-new Studio 5 this evening. Phil Joel of Newsboys fame is joining us, along with hip-hop artist Stephen Malcolm. And we have an early look at a film about one of the most enduring and influential musicians of all time, Louis Armstrong. You can catch Studio 5 on the CBN News Channel at 8:30 Eastern. You can also watch it on the CBN News app. Stay with us. Your Wednesday Word is coming up next. Coming up, observing an ancient tradition, reciting the Bible out loud publicly. We're going to hear where it's happening when we come back. Stay with us. Observing a biblical tradition that dates back thousands of years, the Old Testament contains many references to reading the scriptures aloud at public gatherings. Now, the Institute for Creation Research is celebrating the reading of God's Word out loud at its new Discovery Center in Dallas. A number of speakers will recite the New Testament word for word from memory. The great recital began yesterday and continues through Saturday. To find out how you can watch that event online, simply go to our website at cbnnews.com. Well, time now for your Wednesday Word, and today's word is exceed. Know this: dream your best and wildest dream for your life, and then know that God's dream for you is far greater. His purpose will always exceed your plans. With that word, make this a wonderful Wednesday, and be sure to have yourself a wonderful rest of the week. Well, that will do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. And remind you, you can always find more of our programs on the CBN News Channel at any time, as well as online. Of course, that's cbnnews.com. We would love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today or any day. You can email us, newswatch@cbn.com. And of course, you can reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'd love to hear from you. We'll see you right back here, same time tomorrow. Goodbye and God bless.